Louis Pope Gratacap was an American naturalist and museum curator. Born in New York in 1851, the son of John Louis Gratacap and Lucinda Benton, he graduated from the College of the City of New York in 1869, and in 1870 he enrolled in a seminary, intending to become a minister. After dropping out and working at a bank, he studied at the Columbia School of Mines until 1876. He then worked as a chemist until he was appointed assistant curator of mineralogy at the American Museum in 1880, becoming curator in 1890. He spent his whole life living as a bachelor at Richmond, Staten Island, and died in 1917. Gratacap wrote professional, non-fiction work like his Popular Guide to Minerals. His first book of fiction was the 1903 The Certainty of a Future Life in Mars, a reincarnation fantasy where human souls are given a second life on Mars. Most of his fiction is in fact science fiction. In 1906, he wrote his only prehistoric fantasy, A Woman of the Ice Age, which we shall be reviewing today. During the last Ice Age, about 30,000 years ago, we see a woman in her prehistoric dwelling. This woman is El Hato of the Sierras. After greeting the sun, she takes some provisions and takes off to the water, but finds the way barred, so she must use her harpoon to make her way to the shore. Using her boat, she notices a seal nearby and goes after it and kills it, but almost immediately regrets having done so and mourns for it, singing, as she is wont to do, one of the first people to discover song. On the way back to her people, the boat is carried off by an ocean current, and she is unable to stop herself, the current carrying her off towards the mountains of ice, hurling her onto an iceberg. She nearly loses the boat, but her great physical strength comes in handy, and she manages to hold on to it, drifting along on the iceberg until she can launch off and finally reach a nearby shore. There, we meet Auga, the mastodon hunter, in self-exile, doing his thing by hunting a mastodon. Only the mastodon is being hunted by a smilodon at the same time. After a long fight, he manages to kill the mastodon, but leaves the dead smilodon and makes his way back with the ivory. Before meeting Hutto on the beach, the latter exhausted and asleep in her boat, the two growing to love each other almost instantly. As he tells her the story of his self-exile, a nearby volcano starts doing what volcanoes do best, the two having to run for their lives amid a stampede of wild horses, which end up in a grisly pile of death, as El Hato relates to Auga the story of the evil fire-breather fighting Zit, the spirit of the cold, as they narrowly avoid being trampled to death. Unable to stay in the charred, scarred country, the two move along by the river, and after a quick fight with a bear, eventually entering the land of the horse hunters, ruled by 4 despotic medicine men, and also populated by Luck, the hunchback, who is to play a pivotal role in the final scene of their dramatic journey. The novel is well written, with many adventurous incidents, but the writing is a bit dense. The writer tends to wax lyrical, describing surroundings, the characters' emotions, and exposition on the progress and evolution of mankind for whole paragraphs and even pages at a time. As a result, it takes 30 pages and 2 chapters to get to the beginning of the story, which may be an issue for some.